Okay. It's here. My pallet's pretty fucked up. Subaru. It's gonna run again. That's all I gotta say. Alright, we're gonna open this up, take a look at it. This motor I got out of Colorado. It's supposed to have less than 50,000 miles on it. So it's not brand new, but it's new to me and is supposed to run good. So we'll just go ahead and get it open. I know pretty much everything is cut on this motor, so I'm gonna have to do a whole lot of kind of just unplug and plug back in type deal. But yeah, let's just get it opened so we can take a look at it. Wow. Alright. It looks nice. And actually, it's cut a lot better than I thought it was gonna be. I think actually what I'm gonna do is, like, most of this stuff that's cut, I'm actually gonna try to leave on here so that when I install it, I can kind of see where everything goes. This thing is like super clean compared to mine. Dang. It needs new belts. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna kind of just stare at this thing for a little while, decide what I want to take off, if I want to take anything off, and then kind of go from there. But yeah, this thing is actually pretty freaking clean, to be honest. I mean, it should be. It's less than 50,000 miles. But you just kind of learn to expect the worst, you know? But no, this thing looks nice. I think the hardest part is going to be trying to figure out how to get it on the cherry picker. Because, yeah. It's on a pallet. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's not weird. That's how you fucking send it. But yeah. I'm happy with it. I mean, obviously I haven't seen it run. So, my luck though, I'll end up installing this thing and my transmission will decide it wants to live no longer. So, we'll see. But yeah, this thing is pretty fucking clean. I'm sure they cleaned it, but yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna do some looking and such. Figure out how to get it on there for starters. Probably replace the belts before I even attempt to install it on the vehicle. But everything else looks pretty good. Only, it's weird. The front belt's fine, but the back belt is like dry rotted. I'm gonna replace them both though. Cool. Alright. Things and stuff. Okay, so after some investigation, this is not completely the same motor as mine. This is actually out of a 2006, which has different heads, different intake, and stuff. We'll leave it at that. Heads are interchangeable. I'm gonna leave the heads. I am gonna swap the intake and the harness from my old motor onto this one. This is all different, but all the connectors are the same from what I can tell. So as of right now, all of that's just gonna stay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this intake and harness off and a bunch of other random things and such that I don't need. And then we're gonna get the block into the car, hopefully tonight. And tomorrow we'll work on getting that intake completely swapped over. And hopefully, fucking flies, hopefully have a running vehicle here shortly. I say shortly, but I mean within the next like 48 hours. But hopefully it all works out. Like I said, the heads are interchangeable. These ones are V25 heads, and those are T25 heads or something. But everything else is pretty much the same. See, yeah, this is different on the intake. There's a couple connectors that are slightly different. So yeah, we're gonna swap it over. The harness connects right to the harness on the car. That makes sense. So that's nice. Shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into that, and it's kind of an experiment to see if this is gonna work. It should work just fine. I mean, the short block is exactly the fucking same, I think. But yeah, we're just gonna get into it and get her done. So I went ahead and started ripping off all the wires that I didn't need. I'm working on getting the intake off. It came off super easy, wasn't too bad. That intake is just slightly different than the one that I have, and it was just going to be easier to swap over my harness and my intake onto it to make everything fit. So we got that all done, and then got it all off the pallet onto the cherry picker, which is actually way easier than I thought it was going to be. For some reason I thought it was going to be super hard. Got the hood off. That's always kind of a pain in the ass with just one person, but it didn't go too bad. It's not super heavy, which is nice. Got the motor in, got it all set down in there. Everything went actually way smoother than I thought it was going to go. But yeah, pretty easy actually. I don't mind blowing this motor up because it's actually pretty easy to replace. Just don't want to pay for it, that's for sure. That was fucking easy. Well, hello. The engine's in, it's on the mounts, it's bolted up. We're gonna do the intake and then all the accessories and we'll be done. It sounds simple. This is Becky. She's gonna help me. She's gonna hold the flashlight and then...
And hope I don't get yelled at.
Yeah. Alright. So you can see here I'm swapping out the AC compressor. The fittings did not work. They were not the same. So I put my AC compressor on there and then everything hooked up right up, which is nice because that thing is like brand new. Just got it not that long ago. So that's kind of nice that I could still use it. Alright, sorry about the storm in the background. It's probably kind of loud, but the motor is in and it is officially time to start it. After we see if it runs, then I'll tell you what all I had to change to make this motor work. But let's just go ahead and start it. I'm kind of fucking scared, to be honest. This weird little pause here is just me giving the computer a second to kind of understand what's going on before I actually go ahead and start it. Well, as you know, the motor's in. I only had a few little hiccups, so I'll go ahead and kind of tell you guys about them. I got it running, obviously, fired right up pretty much the first shot, which I included in the video. That was the first start, which was awesome, because it did a lot better than I thought it would. But I ended up taking it down the road and back, realized it got hot, realized the fans weren't coming on, so I replaced the thermostat and a relay to the fans, and that fixed it. That was awesome. But I still had a check engine light pop, which I noticed it wasn't running super great. It wasn't running terribly, but it wasn't running super great. And so I ended up spraying some brake cleaner around the intake because Becky and I put some handmade gaskets in there because I was impatient. I didn't want to wait for the real ones to come in. Well, those completely disintegrated. They looked like they had been on there for years when I pulled this intake back off. And so I put the right gaskets on, got it all put back together, and now it's running amazing. Let's see, what else? I had to use my AC compressor because obviously my hoses, that only the hoses would hook up. I had to change some vacuum lines. But, I mean, really, this thing pretty much bolted right up. Everything was pretty similar. I do still have the code for system running lean or something like that. But anyways, even though I have that code popping, everything seems to be running amazing. The only thing that I think is happening is the sensor differences between the two motors are confusing the computer. So I need to do a little bit of research on that. I know the cams are different, but I'm not sure that that sensor would say that it's running too lean. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. But I'm going to do some research, see what sensors are on what motor, and then look at the part numbers and maybe swap some sensors. I don't know. I need to do some more research, but it's running amazing. I took it on a 12-hour round trip, and it did absolutely perfect. No issues. So I'm super, super happy with it. I'm going to keep working with that code, see if we can get it cleared, because I'm not a huge fan of the check engine light. But, I mean, that's pretty much it. This thing is running amazing. If you know my issue with the code, that'd be sweet. But, yep, this one's done. I finally have my my daily back that has air conditioning, which is super, super nice. Okay, thanks for watching.